Why is it okay for a pro player to be hired based on the merit that they have specialized on a single hero, but if I want to do the same thing on ladder, everyone gets mad at me? That's a question that, honestly, I don't think anyone is even asking themselves in the first place, but it's one that I thought would be fun to discuss regardless, as, let's be honest here, anything else I could talk about will be balance-related complaint sides of the community, and that is a horse that we managed to beat down real quick. Anywho, I still think it's a reasonably relevant topic for reasons that I don't want to spoil in the intro already. But ever since the dawn of discussions surrounding the practice of one-tricking, there was one question that many players were asking. Why is it okay to one-trick meta heroes? Now, that is a handful of questions that I want to cover in today's video, so why don't we just get right into it? But in order to not drive too far away from the original question right away, let's talk about those so-called one-tricks in pro play. Seeing live streamers become popular based on the fact that they are really good at a single hero is nothing new at all. Everyone inevitably finds their favorite heroes, and a lot of players enjoy watching experts play them to see what they can learn for themselves. Some of the more prominent so-called one-tricks in pro play will be AKM on Soldier 76 and Jake on Jakerat. Their prominence is exemplified by the fact that fans make a joke of AKM playing, well, anything else, and players are literally using Jakerat as a legitimate callout in game. But when it comes to a professional environment like the Overwatch League, how does it benefit a team to hire one such specialist? Well, it doesn't. Mostly at least. You see, if you hire a player who can only play a single hero, then you are doing a number of things. For one, you are paying them a full salary to only utilize their skills in a fraction of maps that your team competes on. Furthermore, you are giving the enemies a very easy read on your strategies. They are going to know what you are likely to run, and over time, they will know which maps you want to run these types of comps on as well. At this point, their expertise is almost entirely negated by the fact that you are giving the opponents all the means in the world to prepare for your strategy. And that is exactly why the players that are often labeled one-tricks and the like are not actually one-tricks. AKM is currently in a very unfortunate position where he has to pick up a lot of the roles he did not get to practice a heck of a lot because of internal issues within his team. Essentially, he's biting the bullet by ridiculing himself with a comparably poor performance, overplaying his comfort picks. And Jake, similarly to that, is trying to pick up and improve on heroes that enable the rest of his team. In fact, you will often see him on many other heroes besides Jakerat. But of course, those are rather niche examples. Obviously, I have deliberately chosen heroes that are not considered universally viable in pro play. When talking about one-tricks in pro play, you are much more likely to think of the Sabiobis and J. Joneks of the world. Players who are rarely ever forced off of their best heroes. Those who, for all intents and purposes, are the best players at performing on meta picks. Now, it is worth noting that neither of the examples I brought up, and most likely all of the examples that you can think of, are cases of players who are, again, not actually one-tricks. It might not happen often, but we do see J. Jonek swap off of Zenyatta, and Sabiobi also does not exclusively play Tracer. And in these examples, more often than not, we can see quite a level of expertise on other picks as well. Again, putting the one-trick debate to rest. So we can already draw a very clear parallel to competitive play. You have off-meta specialists in the league who do indeed excel in situations where those picks are beneficial, given the current map and the comp that the teams are running. But you also have specialists who spend most of their time on the same hero because they are those who play heroes that are almost universally viable. And that's why, up until Season 10, most people really didn't get mad at Tracer one-tricks because her kit allows her to be viable on most of the maps in the game. Whereas a Jakerat one-trick might see some more hostility due to the fact that this hero is not always the best pick depending on which map you play on. It's kind of funny to me to be able to draw such a parallel between pro play and the ladder when both of them are so fundamentally different. Quite frankly, even just 6 stacking is already so distinctively different from common ladder play that it feels like you're playing two different games entirely. But one thing you might have noticed is the fact that even if you do one-trick a meta hero, you are not completely safe. Sure, a lot of players might be glad to see you on their teams because they assume your expertise is gonna help them. But now in Season 10, we are in a situation where even that does not hold true anymore. Heroes that have been meta for most of the lifespan of this game are suddenly considered borderline useless. And now the Soldier, Genji, and Tracer mains of the world find themselves experiencing hostility similar to what Torbjorn and Symmetra players had to deal with. So what is the best thing that each of us could do to make sure that we have a good chance to win our competitive matches while making sure that nobody gets too pissy with us? Well, honestly, we are at a massive disadvantage compared to the pro players. Where they are obviously paid to play this game, they can invest a lot of time into studying and perfecting whatever the current meta is asking of them. Realistically, that's not gonna happen to your average ranked player. Most of us have main heroes for a reason. We choose to play what we enjoy because we only have so much time we can dedicate to playing this game. And we'd rather play something that's fun over chasing the next meta trend, which might even feel like starting over in a competitive sense because we obviously have to learn new heroes from scratch. Where in pro play you are looking to perfect the most effective tactics available, ladder play is much more about flexibility. We don't know who we are going to be playing with at the time of queuing up, and we also don't know which maps we're going to be playing. Again, realistically, we'd have to be sufficient at a wide variety of heroes in order to optimize our chances to win, and even then, we might face challenges that seem impossible to come victorious out of because the matchmaker is throwing a wrench into our team. Thanks to the random nature of the matchmaking system, our limited time available to play this game, and the frequent balance patches, players are looking not to find the way to win the most matches, but rather find the best way to game the system. If you think back to the last 50 or so matches yet in competitive play, you might realize that you probably won or lost a lot of them for reasons that honestly don't make a heck of a lot of sense. Players making mistakes that they should not be making at your rank, somebody arbitrarily throwing, or even losing to strategies that should never work simply because your team never managed to coordinate in the slightest. And that is why we have adapted this mentality of gaming the system over playing the game. Something that, mind you, obviously would not work in pro play. And that's the simple answer as to why they're not one-tricking or running bloody Symmetra in the Overwatch League. Nobody cares to game the system. All they try to do is win. And if our motivation was just winning on ladder, then I promise you, our experience will be fundamentally different to what we are dealing with right now. Humble Monthly is a gaming subscription that sends a bundle of games to you every month for just $12. Every month features one or more games as an early unlock while you wait for the rest of your games to unlock later down the month. Every game is yours to keep and you can redeem them on all the usual suspects like Steam and Battle.net. Speaking of which, this month's bundle is featuring Destiny 2 as its early unlock, so you could play it right away. 5% of all the proceeds go to charity, and if you use my affiliate link in the description below, I also get a monetary kickback for every new subscriber, which means that if you do like my content, that is one of the best way of supporting me directly. So get your bundle today by following the link in the description below. Now, obviously, there's a tad bit more that goes into that. Things that, quite frankly, I have talked to death and beyond in previous videos. There are many reasons why our community has adapted this kind of mentality and playstyle, with things ranging from, well, it's a really popular game, all the way to mechanics built into it that affect the way we approach certain issues. Something I try to kind of summarize in my video called 5 Inexcusable Flaws in Overwatch. So if you do want the full brunt of it, feel free to check it out by following the annotation on screen right now. But this is me done for the day, so thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to drop me a like on your way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope to see you all next time.